Hi, my name is Ian, and this video is in response to the ARTS2090 Final Essay Question number 2. It starts out with a quote from an article written by Alan Rushbridger, titled The Splintering of the Fourth Estate. But what's happening today? The mass ability to communicate with each other without having to go through a traditional intermediary is truly transformative. And the question asks, how is the diminution of traditional, and often hierarchical, authoritative intermediaries changing the role of publishing in social life? And it goes on to ask us to focus on one area of publishing. I have decided to go with microblogging, specifically Twitter. So what is the role of publishing? Well, publishing is simply to make something that was unknown, known. And how has Twitter changed the role of publishing in social life? There are 5 such areas that I can think of. First, there is a move from transmission to communication. Rushbridger used an excerpt from Raymond Whalum's book Culture and Society. Much of what we call communication is, necessarily, no more in itself than transmission. That is to say, a one-way sending. Reception and response, which complete communication, depend on other factors. Rushbridger then goes on to say that we are living in that change today, and I echo his sentiment. With the rise of Web 2.0, there is a shift in focus now to information sharing, and web pages are designed to facilitate user input and interactivity. Publishing is no longer a form of preaching at you. Users on Twitter see a post, and they engage in discussion, interact with other users, and partake in a trending dialogue. It is no longer a one-way transmission, where content is merely broadcasted. Users can now engage in a topic. A tweet is now an action that invokes a reaction from users, and that makes communication. Second, Twitter is able to simultaneously distribute, archive, and aggregate information. While the press is well known for its distribution power and its extensive archive collection, Twitter is able to do all of that digitally and go beyond by being able to aggregate its content. Rushbridger had this to say about its aggregating power. You set Twitter to search out information on any subject you want, and it will often bring you to the best information there is. It becomes your personalized news feed. Traditional forms of publishing were great at distribution, but not all as effective in being able to aggregate its content. Twitter has the ability to distribute its content and bring the discussion back to a common place, also known as a trending topic. Also, users can set Twitter to search out a topic of their choice and at their convenience. This gives rise to the hyper-niching notion, where it promotes the personal experience. My filter, my feed, my time. Third, it makes the private public. Contrasting this to traditional publishing, there is a major blurring of the private and public spheres. Rushbridger said that if Raymond Whalum was still around to witness this change, he would have added another significant difference. A move from impersonal media, which was what print was, to personal. It's an enigma almost, where what someone had for lunch becomes content worthy of a post, and in some cases elicit a reply. It is where personal views, opinions, and beliefs meet with the public eye. This is not just paparazzi invading our personal space trying to get a scoop. Twitter has transformed publishing to the point where people willingly offer their personal experience as content to be published. Which leads me to my 4th point. Twitter has nullified the role of gatekeeper. I have termed Twitter as the irritating younger brother of print media. It is trendier, cooler, and more current than print media. It does not submit to authority, and it appeals to everyone's need for immediacy and brevity. But as with most families, it is the older brother that commands more respect. When consumers read a newspaper article, we trust the team of reporters and editors to have a certain level of professionalism before letting a story hit the streets. We have faith that the newspaper company has a process of checks and vets in place to ensure that the story is grounded in fact. But since no one regulates content in digital space, there isn't a need for Twitter users to go through that traditional passage of checks and vets. This can be seen as both good and bad. Good. Tweets are immediate, meaning that if there was an accident and there was a journalist present, he could tweet about it, and in literally seconds it would become news in the Twitter world. This plays into the age-old game of wanting to be first on the scene to get that story. Bad. There is no way to verify the authenticity of a story, so there's a certain level of apprehension when accepting something as fact. For example, taking the departure of Amy Winehouse back in 2011, there were a lot of rumors flying around in the form of tweets. And those tweets were retweeted, making the topic go viral and even trending on Twitter. But her death remained as mere speculation, as some still had doubts about its legitimacy. And it was only when an official report was released by the media did people finally accept it as truth. Twitter offers immediacy, but print media, having the role of gatekeeper, offers reliance. And finally, Twitter changes the overall tone of expression, comparing it again to print media, where its fundamental role as the fourth estate is that of a watchdog. Its tone is often official, serious, and lengthy, a far cry from Twitter, where personal expression, quick wit, and brevity are glorified. Twitter provides a platform for people to voice their opinions, and it is like open mic night. You never know what they might say or whether it's valid, but it is always entertaining to watch it unfold. So to close, while there are concerns to its validity and credibility of its content, Twitter's appeal and potential to engage thousands seems to vastly overshadow these concerns. That irritating younger brother is here to stay, and it would be foolish for us to deny its ability for mass communication. This has been Ian answering question number 2. Thank you for listening.